Newson, Abby Jacobson, A League of Their Own, Paul Schrader, Dog Eat Dog, y más profundamente con John Cale y The Velvet Underground, y Omar Rodríguez López de Mars Volta. Deantoni tiene una licenciatura en Artes de Berklee College of Music. En 2019 creó una feria de tecnología y artes llamada Technoself Immersive, y en 2020 creó una escuela y un plan de estudios en línea, Technoself School of Philosophy. Demos una calurosa bienvenida a Deantoni Parks.
Everyone, you guys hear me okay? Thank you for that fantastic welcome. This is not my first time in Mexico, and it won't be my last time either. So I'm happy to be back here. This is a special place for me, and it's exciting to be here to do this masterclass with you guys. So thank you for the welcome. I think yes, so just to be here to explain a few things about my approach and the way I feel about music in general, how I feel about creatives in general, and how I feel about life in general. It's all tied in together, you know. They mentioned a lot of things that I've done, but I'm still doing more things to come, and I'm very happy to have collaborated with the people I've collaborated with, and just excited to have worked with people that let me be me. I think that is very special, but I want to stress the importance to all of you, the importance of your state of mind, your approach, the thinking behind what you're creating, what you're doing, and also the ultimate result of what you're looking for as an artist, which we're all on the same journey with that. And so my journey started when I was 3 years old. I started very young playing drums, and then added piano secretly. Also practiced a lot of piano. So those are my two interfaces of choice: the drum kit and the piano. As you can see, a small version of it here, and that explains my setup. I'm only using the interfaces that I feel the most comfortable with, if that makes sense. I think most of us play more than one instrument, so I believe in taking the best aspects of just whatever interface you feel the most comfortable with. For me, it's the drum kit and the piano, but for some people it could be the CPU, the computer, a notebook, whatever interface we choose to interact with. So I want to encourage that you find what you feel the most comfortable with to then talk through. So that explains this setup, and also you want, when you're on stage and when you're performing, you want things to be as easy as possible, you know, because this is a very I've been performing my whole life, but it's still challenging, because we're always changing. Everything is always changing around us. So this is kind of, I want you to look at your creative setup as a safe space for you to feel confident and then speak to us in the most pure fashion possible. So that's my history with these items here, but it doesn't matter what your interface is, because as a human, any interface without us, what is it? But the interface with us, like right now, these interfaces are quiet. I'm not interacting with them. They are just potential, basically, until I interact. So I want to stress the importance of human value, especially in the age of what they're calling artificial intelligence. I call it artificial cleverness. It is, it's a good time for us as creative to look at ourselves differently. And I think that's very important. Machine learning is not like human learning, so we need to remember that in this day and age. So this is about you understanding your innate value just as a human being, as a life, as a bio-life form. Your value is, no one knows the ceiling. Humans have not had our singularity just yet. But we're talking a lot about AI, the singularity of AI, but what about the human singularity? I think we still are able to reach higher places as humans. And that doesn't just exclude animals that are not vertebrates or primates. I'm talking all bio-life forms, so this is the mentality I have approaching music specifically, is before I step to these interfaces, I have to understand my value as a human. I think we kind of skip over this. We have qualities that machines don't have, that AI does not possess. And we need to take those qualities like empathy and love and, the amazing ability we have to ingest and process all of this information around us. And we do this daily without thinking about it. We don't have to think for most of our lives. I mean, that's how amazing our bio-life forms are, the bodies that we have. So I do want to stress the biology of this, because it's something that we all possess. So I just want to make that clear. So you'll see the term Technoself a lot from me, because it's not just an album that I released on Stone's Throw in 2015. It is an idea. It has become a practice for me. I've turned it into a festival, which is called Technoself Immersive. I see it as my artistic umbrella, but it comes from the power of all of our bio selves, if that makes sense. So that's what Technoself means. Even at I have a private school online, which I'm going to be making more and more public. And if you guys are interested in what I'm doing in there, it's called Technoself School of Philosophy. Of course, it's not a school, it's not a philosophy. The words just sound good to me. But it is a place where I'm I built this curriculum off of this power of the bio. I call it bio over ego. That would be the equation. We don't need ego to surpass ourselves, surpass our own levels. We use bio to do that. And that's something that we all have. I'm talking about your brain, your body, your what I call cognitive wetware, which is your thoughts. This, to me, is the highest technology. This is cool. The computer is nice. If I want to crunch a lot of big numbers, you know, assess patterns, the computer is great for that. But for music, we're still the best. You know, so that is something I make clear to all of my, I don't have students, I call them participants, because I'm still learning myself. There's no hierarchy in my school, you know. So that's the only, like I said, there is a full curriculum. It started as a 12-week course, but when I finished the 12-week course, I wasn't going to pitch it to Berkeley Online, MIT Online, a few other great online schools, but when I finished the 12-week course, I was like, no, this is not enough. So now it is a living curriculum. So that means that I have to listen to the participants, each one. There's a different curriculum. If each of you were at my school, neither of you would experience the same course. Okay, because once one-on-one we get together, we're listening to each other, new neural pathways start to form, so the curriculum kind of acts like a virus or like a bacterium, you know, the way it spreads and the way it works between us. So, so that's something that is challenging as a teacher to do, but so rewarding, because again, I'm using my biological traits, like what we're good at, which is empathy, being able to model things outside of us. These are amazing qualities. Proprioception. I can move my arm here. If I can't see it, I still know where it is. Those types of things. These are things we don't really, we take these things for granted, you know. All the data that we each have is supposed to be used for our purposes. When people, it's funny because when I first started the school, people would write me like, I'm not a drummer, you know, I didn't study, I'm not, all these things. And my response is always, are you a bio-life form? And yeah, they're like, yeah. And that's good enough. You have to understand, the body at any level is a miracle. It's the highest technology. I think about things like photosynthesis. This is technology. We have these things all embedded within us. So I challenge all creators to really look at this as a chance for you to create from a higher place and purely. And so that's kind of what my school is about. And it's still going. I've been going for about 4 years, and I'm on Discord. And I have people from all over the world, the greatest group of creators that I could imagine. And, they're operating off of the idea that no matter what their background is, they're by a life form, so they have value. So we start there. For me, this has been this is an idea that I had to insert in my world first. It's something that really made me, it gave me clarity, I guess, because in this position, it's kind of a threatening position with technology. And so we are fighting back with this, saying that this tech, even, within the school, we don't look at what the world calls technology, we don't call that. We just call that a tool. So I wouldn't call the TV technology. I wouldn't, for the sake of the creatives, I don't call this technology. I only call us technology because it puts us in the right place. And so we're not coming from beneath ourselves to create something. We're creating, so we have to come from a real place. So that idea has really clarified things for me, So if I go to the if I go visit the Hydrogen Collider, the one in Switzerland, I'm going to look at that and say that's a nice tool. To me, that's not technology for the sake of creative purposes. So that's something I want to stress. Look at yourself differently. The world is changing. How you call yourself is important out there. So if I just call myself a drummer, which most people know I'm a drummer, but they don't, I'm also a composer. I do, I write for film, and I do all these other things. And I create festivals, and I'm creating a game right now. It's coming soon. So the labels don't work, so we might as well just call ourselves technology. And everyone in here, no matter what you do, you're a creative technologist. That's technically what you are. I mean, even if, let's say you play bass, you're a bassist, you're a singer, you're an engineer, you do this. You're a creative technologist, okay? Because you're operating as a human first. So we need to recognize ourselves. And so from that idea, it's given me more energy. It's kind of become like this fission reactor that just keeps churning out joules of energy just because of the mentality of the thought. And so that's what I'm embodying when I interact with these interfaces. I'm interacting as a creative technologist, I'm bringing value to these inanimate objects. This is what we do. There's one of the assignments at my school is for you to record your interface instrument by itself. So you record the drum set just by itself, quiet, and then you record yourself interacting with it. It's a basic study to see the power of your value. So that's what this is about. So stop looking at yourself as an artist, basically. The world doesn't, the way they treat artists and creatives, it has been on a weird decline, and it's interesting. So we can't change the world, but we can change our nomenclature, our names. So I'm just telling you this because this is how I see you. I'm not going to look at you and say you do one thing. I know what you are. So this is about giving ourselves the ability to gain probability. And that comes from the idea that you are the superior technology. Does that make sense? Is that clear? Think about that. So, yeah, that's where I'm coming from mentally. And when I interact, I'm literally streaming this information. So I don't have a song, I don't have a particular pattern that I perform. It's unique every time because I've allowed myself the space to show off my cognitive wetware. You know, so I can be a drummer, I can be a pianist, I can be a sampler, I can be a conductor, I can be the composer, the arranger, all in real time. So improvisation is a big part of what I do because, again, this is something that shows off your biological traits. You know, our ability to process information and also regurgitate it and revalue the information. We do this every day. We wake up, we're looking at things, we're constantly processing information around us. And we don't have extra, battery packs for memory. Unless someone here does, I don't know, but we don't need that. It's the body, these things are so sustainable versus technology. All we need is a little water, some bread, what we do well as bio-life forms is we're efficient. So once you realize all these things, it's helpful to you in your creative process. I want to stress that what this is about, what Technoself is about, is that it's a chance for all creatives, all humans, but I'm talking to creatives first, to realize that they are the superior technology, and you'll be surprised at how that affects your creative system, whatever it may be. Again, to me, this is a clarification process, and it's something that we're going to have to, deal with and go through. If I was still putting myself in a box and calling myself a musician or a drummer, it's just not accurate. It's just not accurate. So the creative technologist moniker is a lot more creative and a lot more just accurate to what we do. So those are just things for you guys to think about. And when I'm engaging in this music, it's all a real-time process. So I'm pulling all of this data, years of drumming, years of closet piano playing, years of listening to so many great artists, and curiosity. Even if you haven't spent as much time as me or a lot of other people, that's totally fine, because it's all about your passion. Don't let your education or surroundings fool you. Your potential is through the roof. So just keep those things in mind, because we have to protect our mental health. We want to feel good about ourselves, while we create. So because we help other people feel good, So that's why I'm speaking to the creatives first. That's what Technoself means. And when I'm engaging in this, I'm thinking of myself as technology. I don't know what I'm going to play, but it's going to be authentic. It's going to come from me. It's going to be my signature. It's going to have my value, my feelings, and that's how I like to communicate. Is that clear? So I will do I'll just stream for just a second, just to give you an example of what I'm talking about. So I'll just find a random there's no software that really does what I need it to do, so I have to make it random. But I'm also working on my own VSTs and software right now, where I'm trying to implement these things, and so it'll be much easier for us to kind of create these things in a way that's true to us, you know. So yes, I'll just find a patch here and see what we have going on. You guys okay with that?
Sure.
So there, I didn't know what was going to happen, right? I'm just pulling from data. I'm not using any help from the computer. I'm just mimicking things that computers do. Parts of that I can repeat things. I kind of have a built-in sequencer. So I can repeat a bar, I can extend the section, I can do all these things, create this arrangement in real time and just let it kind of happen in a way, but still I'm guiding it, basically. So I have these, a bunch of palettes that are here. Some compositions are compositions I've written that I just kind of revalue. Like this is a piece that I composed, but it's just broken apart in a granular way across the keyboard, so I can. Right, so I have all these different palettes ready to go at my disposal, but where I go, I don't know. So that's where the improvisation comes in, because improv is also a wonderful tool. So yes, so that's just one example. I'll do, let me do another quick thing here. as you can see, is going to be different every time, every single time, which is tough. But once you realize the built-in properties you have as a human, all those things come into being. It's a lot about human thinking. Because while I'm performing, I'm not thinking. I'm trying not to think. Thinking is problematic, as Bob Dylan would say, but it's most of our lives we don't need to think. That's how great our technology is as bio-life forms. Rarely do you have to consciously think throughout the day. The rest of it is built off of hundreds of thousands of years of data that we all possess, that's in our passed down in our blood. And so we have a lot of agency within us. So these abilities to think, not think, and also think. But the subconscious is much more powerful than your conscious self, if that makes sense. When you're letting go, you're able to, your subconscious is much faster. Let's just put it that way. If I'm thinking too much here, I'm doing this in real time, so if I'm thinking too much, it's gonna be a problem. And that's not the way humans work. Once we, the keyboard borrows a lot from us. When you look at your computer, and you see enter, return, delete, shift, option, command, you see all these things. These things come from us. Once I make a decision, it's gonna get done. Once I say, I'm going to create this system where I'm trained to play with 2 sticks, and even on piano, I play with 2 hands, generally. This came out of problem solving. I wanted a way to create music much more freely, and for it to have the sound of nothing else. So I had to use subtractive synthesis, take away a stick and take away a hand to then be able to access a whole new world, which for me is it's a tough thing, but it's worth it within your own creative worlds. So if you're not happy with how you're creating, what you're creating, feel free to take things away, because it's going to change the whole ethos of what you do. So that, obviously I still do, sometimes I'll do the 2 sticks with this, but this has opened up things that I would normally never do. So I was looking for different results. So that's why this setup is from problem solving, not, it wasn't from for a style. It was to solve problems in the way that I wanted to create. Creating through computers is cool, and I love it. I've done it for years, overdubbing and things like that. But there's something about being able to do it all in real time that sounds new to me. A lot of my favorite records were recorded in real time. They were live. Everyone was playing. So I found a way to do that on my own. So this is a lot of problem solving going on. I can instantly change modulation, if it's straight, or or swung or whatever the modulation is, I can switch at will at any time. So things like that would be tough to do with this type of tool, but if you're going from the internal, anything is possible, basically. So that's my thinking on that. And no hate on the MPC, but you can't get dynamic on an MPC. You saw how quiet I was able to get with this? It's like an instrument, and that's why I love this. For anyone who wants to know why I chose keys, it's because I don't have to. Everything is all. The keyboard is amazing because it's already mapped out. I know where the notes are, so I don't have to look. I'm referencing sounds by what I hear. So I'm really letting my ear guide the whole experience. The ear is probably the best tool we have. So it's just walk down this road. Walk down, walk down, walk down this road. Down, down, walk down, walk down. Walk down, walk down. Down. is James Taylor, and you know, this is kind of about the ability to kind of revalue information. You know, that's what we do well as humans. If you looked us up in the dictionary, they should tell us what we actually do. You know, I'd like to know my bio specifications, and so this is what I use to kind of empower my fellow creatives. Yeah. So yeah. If it's okay with you guys, we can open up for a few questions. And then I'd like to close it out with just playing a lot more. But yeah, if there's any questions up here, over here, anything like that, we could do that now if that's cool.
Hello, Gabo. Nice meeting you. So let me get this straight. So what you got there is that you're importing samples into a granular synthesizer and then chop it off and arrange it, and you have it mapped on the keyboard. And the level goes up and down according to the velocity of the keys. That's what it is. And there's no such thing. You wrote the code for that software. Is that what it comes down to?
Basically, yeah. Right. The code and more.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that was my question about this.
Precisely. That's the thinking. Thank you, guys.
I'm into that.
Yes.
And that's where I'm going myself.
Yes.
I think the hybrid between real instruments and electronics. I play the bass and loop it, hook it through a loop station with a Gibson.
You're showing off your biology, man.
That's where I'm going.
It's beautiful.
Hi.
Hi there.
Thank you so much for being here. So my question is, how do you actually balance your time? I mean, you do play drums very well, and you actually are into code, which is, I mean, they're both time-consuming. So I really wonder, how do you manage your lifetime? Like, whether you play in the morning and then you code, like, how do you manage to play that well? I mean, I know you've been playing since you were like 13, 6 years old, 3 years old. I mean, that should be one of those things. How do you manage time between coding and playing? Because I'm sure that most of us here have more than one passion. So I'm really wondering, how do you, what can you tell us to us creative people? How do you actually say what we are?
Creative technologists.
Creative technologists. How do we can actually manage more than one passion?
It's a great question. The coding is the thinking. You know, our thinking is everything. So that's why I'm telling you, think of yourself as a creative technologist. Don't pigeonhole yourself, because then everyone else will. You know, so in the way, as far as balancing time, what we are very good at as humans is efficiency. So we're efficient even if we don't realize it. So think about that. And also, it's the thinking can shorten the time needed. So like I said, like for me to produce this, just what I played for you, if I had to go back and produce that, it would take longer. So this is the problem solving I'm talking about. This saved me time. It saves me time. Even film scores, some scenes I can play it and be done. You know, like Vangelis. You know, he would play all Blade Runner. He just played everything in real time. He wasn't, oh, let me put a part down and go back and overdub. So this is about problem solving. So the thinking is what helps, and also just micromanagement. Make time. If you just have 5 minutes to work on this, be devoted for that 5 minutes, because your passion can save you time.
All right. Thank you so much.
You got it.
Well, I have a question. You talk about the importance of improvisation, being aware of your abilities, but what can you do when it gets cut off by shyness, like having that problem?
The shyness gets eradicated when you think of yourself as technology. It sounds silly at first, you know, I'm not technology, I'm not a computer. No, you're more, you know, so those things alleviate shyness. I'm extremely shy. I've been performing my whole life, but it's still difficult because I respect it. I respect performance and what it takes to communicate. Even for us all to show up today, takes a lot of energy. You know, so it's just about looking at these things differently. So that, yeah. Am I helping you here? Does that make sense?
More or less. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hola.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal?
¿Qué tal? Well, it's pretty cool to be here. Actually, it's I've been a fan for quite a while. I think.
Thank you.
My pleasure, actually. So I have actually like kind of cool questions. Three of them are pretty brief, and the main one is, what about scoring? Because I also write music. It's not like I'm an expert, but I try to write music. So writing a score like gives me like have a record on what I'm doing. So when I get back to it, I already have some progress done, so to speak. So how do you deal with that? And if you ever want to repeat a piece that you really liked, how do you deal with that? Because from what I'm taking is that pretty much everything is like pretty authentic, so to speak. So how do you deal with that? Like not having a score, and then if you like that, how do you replicate it? The second question is, would you say that mastering the technique has to do with overcoming shyness? Because I get also a bit freaked out when I'm going to perform live, so I start to stutter and trembling, so that kind of thing. But I think that's because of the lack of mastery I have. So if I have mastery, that's what I do. So would you say that mastering your instrument has to do with overcoming shyness? The third one is your workout routine. What's your workout routine? And the fourth question is, if you happen to want, maybe is there any possibility that you feel like signing my record, if you like to?
I should say, yeah, after this, we're gonna try to do all those things.
All right.
So, yeah, I'm totally down for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. But so the answer to number 3, soy vegano. I'm vegan, man. I eat like the body is efficient. You heard what I said earlier. This thing is powered like, it doesn't need much, but the right fuel, because you're not living to eat, you're eating to live, right? So this is, looking at myself as technology helps me with that, okay? Mastery, helping shyness. No, because I'm not a master of this. I'm still going up. I'm not, I don't consider myself a master of this, so I'm still climbing, right? So I wouldn't say mastery equates to deletion of your shyness. Again, I think it's just trust yourself, trust your technology, and people will feel that, and they'll respect that, because they have empathy. They all are this. They're all technology too, so they're amazing at empathy. So they'll feel that. So there's nothing to be shy about. The first question
Is the scoring like?
Yeah, scoring. So because this is all real time, that's the beauty of recording. You know, like I record everything, sound checks, and I can pull them back and reference them. You know, so I just record everything. Some things I will write and make sure, you know, some things I will, if it's a specific idea or whatever it may be, but in general, just record everything so you can reference it. Because if it does work in that movie, and save your palettes. So if there's like, if you play something for a director and like, oh, I love that piece, can you recreate that? Yeah, because I have it. I'm doing all the other backup work just to cover myself, right? Yeah. And then the other question, the last question was?
The record. Yeah,
oh, okay, we're good. Oh, fantastic. I hope that was okay.
Thank you so much. It's very cool to be here.
Hello.
Oh.
What's up, man?
What's up?
All right. I want to ask you about, how do you feel about your relationship with Andre 3000? How does your workflow function?
It's a great question. I just recently started working with him. Always loved him. We're from the same city, from the same state. But he recently really understood the power of being in the moment. And he's been really studying Sun Ra and just a lot of, you know, people that work in real time, right? Because he's coming from a world of rap where you have to get up there and you have to do that song the same way every night or you get killed. which is great. But when you've done that, you understand where he is now. So he's now on those waters. So it makes sense that we would connect because I'm a jazzer for life, you know, like the technology of jazz is still, for me, the top genre, you know, because of the intellectualism involved in the real time, and it really shows off the body as technology. When I think of John Coltrane, to me that's technology. You know, so this is what I want us to kind of go for. But yeah, Andre has arrived there, and it's a beautiful place, and it's a powerful place because you're just being yourself in front of people. And because of my history with improving and my history with John Cale, the Velvet Underground, and improv has always been a powerful tool. So yeah, that's kind of how we go. But the feeling is amazing, you know, because we all know what he does, but he's actually, like I said earlier, we tend to have more than one interface that we're good at. So why not bring it all together?
That's amazing. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Hello. Just right here. So you were saying that we need to be really conscious about our own body in a technological sense for us to help us create new neural pathways in a positive way, right? So how have you approached teaching that to those who find it difficult to express themselves proprioceptive and interoceptive way, and to recognize, express, and identify the processes to help our field participants or anyone to create and find their own language?
Amazing. The curriculum does that. I mentioned one assignment where you have to videotape your interfaces without you and with you, but then there's also other assignments that kind of put you in that place. One main thing here is that writing is hard. You know, like, that's why people steal music. They steal of course, it's easier. So writing, even if I'm like, I have to write a new piece tonight, I'm stressed out. So the thinking is that you're constantly, as a human, you're constantly, kind of like if we could see our code for what we're doing every day and throughout the day, we'd understand. But like, instead of thinking about writing this amazing piece, the pressure of writing something good, it's the understanding that things are streaming from you constantly. Like right now, I'm not playing, but the music is happening. You understand? So it's just my duty to try to capture a moment of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's back to the information is we have overload of information. Like we have more than enough to throw around. So think of whatever you create is just a piece of you. It's not, you can't judge it. You cannot judge I have works at home, well, on the computer that I think are trash. Okay, this is what we do. We hate on ourselves first, but no, I'm forcing you to look at even the things that you don't like about your works. Because what I do, if I have a piece I don't like, I'll re-sample it. If I don't like the piece, I can sample it again and then pick it apart and make it better. But never throw away your works, recycle them. Because that information is you. It's yours. So instead of thinking about, I gotta do this amazing piece, just try to capture just moments. Even if you just have 2 bars, 2 good bars of something, capture that and listen to it and appreciate it. So it's the understanding is that you're always streaming art. We're human, that's what we do. So just think about it like that. I just want to capture something today. No judgment, to allow yourself these things. This is very important.
Nice to meet you.
Well, I do have a problem that I have this project with some of my closest friends. It's like this music band that I have. Situation is that we have this song that schoolmates have listened to and they love. They want to hear it. They want us to upload that to Spotify and to listen everywhere. And we really do want to do that, but the problem is that we want to make this project go further to what we want to extend. But every time we go to my friend's studio, to another friend's house to do something, to have these ideas, these new music, yes, we always tend to block ourselves, we put our feet and just stop doing everything. And you have been dealing a lot, I suppose, with a lot of the artists that you have worked with your students even. So I would like to know how to get out of that situation where I want to do this, but it's really not working. But I want to do this, but these other people are still blocked. And I want to get them out as me too.
Yes. Thanks for sharing that. This is really important. This is where you come in. Even in those situations, you don't really want to correct people. You just want them to be in harmony with you. This is very tough, but it's something we must do. But I say in this situation, instead of you can't control them, right? But you can control you. So maybe there's something that you produce alone that inspires them to then go into another direction or something like this. Think of yourself as a catalyst. If you know what I mean, like you kind of have to position yourself to kind of lead the way or have a voice. But sometimes some things are just not achievable with certain groups of people, and you have to do it alone. At least spend time alone and kind of figure some things out, and then you can be an inspiration to them. This is what I've done. Some groups, I've been in. I didn't agree with every single thing, but I'm really good at communicating and being a team player. I think that's important. That's why I can be here today alone, because I'm thinking about an ensemble, not just me. So I say you be the catalyst, produce the works, produce the vision that you hear, and that's going to change the situation. If the situation doesn't change in that way, you're gonna have to. It's a lot of nuance and a lot of But I say for you have to kind of be the person to maybe make a demo and play them, or whatever it may be. But be a catalyst.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hi. I just have one question. Besides the great success on your career, what kind of problems or limitants have you faced in the music industry with the Technoself philosophy? Thank you.
Thank you. The Technoself philosophy is a direct result of me being around the record industry. It's again, this is me problem solving. Like my man just said, he's in a group and people are not, maybe it's not the vibe. So I took that as a chance for me to problem solve and kind of figure some things out on my own. And after that, this kind of showed up, But it's very important to just be true to your vision. Like no one knows your vision, you know what I mean? So you just kind of have to carve it out and really get into what you're pushing. I mean, I'm an advocate. I love ensembles and groups. I think you have to experience this if you want to be an artist, But at one point, you have to be alone. We all have to be alone, And so that's where these things come into be about the technology and all these things of the self. But as far as the industry goes, it's funny because once I started this, I didn't think I wasn't doing this for other people to use, and but that's what happened. I started this and I dropped my album to let people know this is what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of have to let people. You have to set your territory, and that's what this is. And so the industry now, when I get hired, they want the techno stuff. I just did a record. I just finished recording with Flea from the Chili Peppers. We've never recorded together. He's got a brilliant album coming soon. Look out for that. But he wanted me to use this setup. You see what I'm saying? So I don't even get hired for a traditional drum kit anymore because they've heard my vision, they've seen the problem solving that it creates. I can, in real time, create the song, the whole, in the moment, and it feels so much better. So the industry has accepted this. The films I do, I use this technique. The people I work with, Omar Rodriguez Lopez, I did a whole tour with him with this setup in a band called Bosnian Rainbows. So we toured the world, and I had this setup. So it becomes functional. So the problem solving, functionality, everything is functionality. It has to have a function. So it's not about how it looks or all those silly things. Make sure you tap into your functionality, and people will recognize that.
Thank you.
If you had to say what the most important limiting beliefs you had to break as a musician to get where you are, which ones would you think they would be? And have you consciously applied techniques to create new realities in your life as a musician?
Those are great questions. So the first question again was.
What are the limiting beliefs most important as a musician you have to break
Breakthrough. Okay, so yeah, as a musician, it's really just the name. You know, it's whatever we call ourselves. You know, you have to break past the word. You know, like, cause you know, I used to call myself a drummer, right? Before I really understood my capacity or full spectrum, if you will, and it was inaccurate. Okay, so it's about being accurate to yourself. It saves you time and all these things. So I would say that's like a major point of that, is you kind of reclaiming how you, like I said, everyone here, to me, if they ask me what you guys do, I'm going to say there's a room full of creative technologists. I'm not going to say, oh, there's an engineer there, there was a this. It's all the same to me, you know. Did that help? Okay, and your other question was?
Do you think your abilities to create new realities as a musician, it's like intuitive, or have you consciously applied some techniques like about consciousness or that stuff?
Oh, right. It's just being true to myself. I could have tried to cosplay and be other things, and we're afraid to be ourselves. So in that situation, you have to find your truest self, which I call this situation the Technoself. But I had to find, and I had to name it. I had to create a new. It wasn't enough just to have the new neural pathways. I had to make it something physical, something real, because it's such an abstract idea. So that was the way I approached that. So just being your truest self at all costs, basically. Thank you. Hey there.
I just have a question. So how do you deal with? Well, let me rephrase it. Did you ever doubt your ability as a drummer? And how did you deal with that? You know,
Self-doubt.
Yeah, I have many like passions, but I don't ever feel that I'm extremely good at one. So did you ever have that like doubt and you wanted to like change? How did you feel that?
Yeah, you know, doubt is free. You don't have to take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still doubt myself because I do have to live in this world, you know, and that's just part of my humility. It's part of, I don't think I'm I don't have an illusion of myself, if that makes sense. And that's helpful because, I just think that those things kind of get in the way, you know what I mean? So kind of getting rid of that as early as possible is great. I was going to say something crazy, but did that make sense? Or but yeah, that's the feeling on that. Yeah.
Things or any tips, advice that you can give us on when we find ourselves in that spot? How do you deal with it? What things maybe, what distractions do you use to make you feel like,
Yeah, it really comes from being okay with yourself. You know what I mean? I think we're the harshest to ourselves. I'll catch myself saying something about me mentally, like, nah, you know, this person's better at this or that, you know, and you know, in a negative way to myself. That still happens. So that's something that we have to deal with as creatives, you know. but it's worth defeating. Once you get that, I know that the term is Technoself, but there's no self involved. You take the self out. Even if you talk about yourself in a way, you don't really have a self, We are each a system, not people. Each person is a system. And to make an example of that, like we've all had loved ones who have transitioned or passed on. Like I'm just gonna say my grandmother, right? She's not here anymore, but I can model her. If I'm in a situation, I could say my grandmother would not deal with this. She would definitely not make this choice because of the data I have from this person. So a person is not a person. It's a system. So you are a system. You see what I'm saying? So we're just giving ourselves more space. If we're sitting here saying, "Yeah, I'm a self," that's not true. It's like just you as a human. Again, we're going back to biology here. It's intense, and if we're not doctors, we don't really study this. Most doctors don't study the body like what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Did that help at all?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You said that we should stop overthinking things, and that when we play an instrument or when we do something, we should stop thinking. But I want to ask, how can I do that? Because I'm always thinking, and I don't know how to make it stop. Because I'm also a pianist, but when I play, I get nervous for some reason, and I'm always focusing on how to play and what to play, but I don't know how to make it happen.
I love the pianist, so yeah, it's great. But yeah, it's really, it's kind of finding the meaning behind what you're doing, because if we get wrapped up in just the exercise, it can be nerve-wracking, and the piano is a very difficult instrument, just like the drum kit. These percussion instruments are very difficult, but I think it comes from a mentality. Once you change your mentality you have to allow yourself certain permission to grow, to expand, to do. So in that, you're gonna feel nervous. You're gonna see your flaws. You're gonna see, and so the thinking part of it. What I'm saying is, in life, your day-to-day life does not require a lot of thinking. That's what I'm saying. Like if you're just going, the times of the day that we're conscious is like when the dolphin's underwater all day, but then it comes up for air a couple times a day or something. That's kind of like our consciousness, our technology is so intense, we don't have to think that much. So what helps is preparation. Obviously I've spent just a lot of time with these interfaces. So the time spent then becomes a kind of cushion for you or a buffer, so just spend more time, and the time is what gives you the confidence, but when you're playing, be honest with yourself, and also understand that you're operating technology that once you insert certain time with your instrument, all those things are going to improve, and you're going to be thinking less. You see what I'm saying? So right now you're probably having to think a little more, but eventually it's going to happen where I just want you to be aware of that. That's why I said it, not to throw you off or anything, but yeah, you do have to think. You know what I mean? I'm just saying something about your own technology. The more time you spend, by the time you get in front of people, it's almost like they're not even there, because this is what it is to be in the position that you're in, So I think just spend more time, and then it's going to become way more subconscious. But in general, the subconscious is much quicker, and that's based on what you do beforehand.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Was there any more questions? I just want to make sure we have everybody. So I think we have like about 15 minutes here. If anyone, I will come down right after this. If anyone has anything for me to sign or anything like that, I'll totally do it. I was gonna play one more piece for you guys, and then we can conclude. But thank you all so much for listening, participating. All the questions were amazing. Your warm energy, I feel it, and I'm thankful.
Otro fuerte abrazo, por favor, para nuestro invitado Deantoni. Exquisita clase, máster. Muchas gracias. Y en nombre de Expo Soundcheck quiero entregarles tenemos 10 minutos para la sesión de fotos y firma de autógrafos, porque necesitamos llevarnos a nuestro invitado a un lunch especial que tiene con los otros invitados, así que les vamos a pedir si pueden hacer las personas interesadas formar una unifila por aquí y tiene que ser rápido.